What's up, guys? It's Tuesday, January 31st. Not the 30th like I lied to you in a few minutes. But it's the 31st, episode 85. No, it's 84 of This Isn't Cereal in My Bowl. An episode where Matthew and myself, Ian, are joined by Laurel, my girlfriend's brother, Josh, Wain, to discuss the 20th anniversary of Built to Spill's Perfect From Now On, which celebrated its 20th anniversary on Saturday, the 28th. It's a great episode. It was great having Josh on. He's a great dude. He's in college right now at Geneva in Beaver, Pennsylvania. Beaver. He's a great dude. Real into the indie scene and whatnot. So he was great to have on to talk about Built to Spill, an album that recently came into both Matt and I's lives because I saw that was anniversary, and whoa, what a great album. Really just insane guitar tones. I talk about it constantly throughout the episode. I wanted to bring up a lyric in that album before we get on to the actual interview. There's a line in Randy Describes Eternity where Doug says, I'm going to be perfect starting now. Well, that is my declaration to you, our listeners, for the rest of the time that we do this podcast. We're going to be perfect starting now. I have noticed some things have been lacking and whatnot, and might get discussed a little bit in the next episode, but starting now, we're going to be as perfect as we can be here at Bowl HQ. Well, anyway, let's get down to it. Thanks for listening, guys, and let's play the conversation. Hit it, baby Dave. Joshua Wain.
Yo, what's going on?
What's up, man?
Oh,
brother to Laurel, my girlfriend. How are
That's
you?
me. I'm good. I'm
of
good.
7 years that we found out.
What class did you have today? You were saying that you just got out of class.
Oh, what class did I have today? I had a contemporary and adolescent culture.
Whoa! Enlighten us.
Oh man, it's just a class on the sociological phenomena of adolescence. And
See,
how to
you call
deal with
that phenomena. I call that sociological insomnia. Because you ain't sleeping if you got adolescence.
That's right. Absolutely.
When did your semester start?
It started like second week of January, so I've been at it for a couple weeks now.
Cool. Is that your favorite?
I mean, you got a vibe.
What's that?
Yeah, you got a vibe for it. So what do you think? Like, you like the class so far? Is it kind of like, eh?
I dig it. I mean,
Nice.
it's iffy. Sometimes we just listen to podcasts, in which case I just want to fall asleep. But whenever we actually have a discussion, it's like, yeah, I can do this.
The guy comes on a podcast.
We listened to a podcast on puberty the other day. And it was really awkward. It was like, yeah, a bunch of college kids listened to a podcast on puberty. The guy's like, puberty! What's up with that? He was a little too excited to be talking about it, you know? It's kind of creepy.
So, sounds like he can't be parked 50 yards within a school, if you ask me. But.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, man.
But, so you're good? You're doing good? School's going good?
Yeah, it's going really well.
Delivering the za?
Yeah, still delivering the za, man.
I think I'm the only person who says za, like delivering the za. Yeah,
I
I
picked
never
up
have
what
met
you're
anyone
throwing
else
down.
who said that. Really,
What's that?
You've heard someone say like, "Get me some za."
That's the first time. You're the first person I've ever heard say that. But I dig
Exactly.
it. I dig it.
Exactly. No one does.
I saw that, like, an iconic pop culture 90s movie once. That was about it.
The za.
It was like, dude, let's get some za, bro.
TMNT.
It's beautiful.
Probably.
Oh, jeez. But more importantly than how you're doing, what you been listening to?
Oh man, I can't lie. For the last couple months, I've been hardcore into Cardinal by Pine Grove. I can't stop listening to it.
It's interesting you brought that up. We just talked about in the episode we recorded for last Friday's. Did you know that Pine Grove just released a live album on their Bandcamp?
Yeah. I think all the profits are going to ACLU or something like that.
Yeah. Do you know more about what is that?
I'm not actually particularly sure, but it's something that does good for the public.
Yeah, a lot of bands have been donating to it, and before the episode, I actually was gonna look it up, and I totally forgot. But something to look into. But yeah, they one of the songs was recorded in Pittsburgh.
Really? Where at?
Yeah, it was their Kevin Devine show, so wherever that.
Oh, at I think that was at Cativo. I wanted to go, but it was sold out. I was super bummed. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Damn,
David Beck
sold out in Pittsburgh.
Dude, they're showing NYC at the end of April. Laurel really wanted to go to. We looked up tickets last night. It's January 24th. It's sold out already.
Wow.
Damn.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Dude, they skyrocketed.
You found a good one, Ian.
They're gonna release an album this year. It's gonna be crazy. I know.
Absolutely. But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Pine Grove. I've been getting back into Pedal a lot because Pedal actually toured. They played at Cativo with Pine Grove.
That's the band with the really cute girl fronting it, right?
That's the one, yeah.
Like, I hate to be that guy, but because I didn't like the music, and then I saw them do a live video, and I was like, I need to listen to this band.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, they're incredible. Yeah.
They're a run for cover band. That's a Will Yip produced album.
Oh, really? Okay, nice.
Yeah, they're based out of Philadelphia. Yeah, they're incredible too.
Awesome.
Trying to think of what else. For some reason, I've been re-encountering some of my favorite bands from like the early Seattle scene, like Screaming Trees and stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah, that was just a random. I've been all over the place lately, but.
What do you mean early Seattle scene, like before grunge? It's like early '90s.
Like grunge in its infancy, like mid to late '80s.
I don't know if I've ever heard of Screaming Trees.
Yeah, they were like the pre-grunge, soft grunge band of Seattle in it was like the late 80s.
All right.
Interesting.
Cool. So cool. That's what you've been digging. What you been listening to, Matt?
Man, well, right now I'm actually listening to some Waking Ashland, some good old piano rock. On the way home, I was checking out A Ghost Inside. I was listening to some of their old stuff, so I've been bouncing between really heavy and really soft and somber.
Just so you know, Josh, Matt has a tendency to have bad musical taste. It's okay. We love it.
I also listen to Copeland today, you know?
So... No, he just...
That, right?
I have to pick
you
on that.
Copeland's bad?
I didn't say... No, I didn't say... I said you have a tendency.
Tendency.
That means that's like in a pie chart. This would be a little... You know what I mean? Okay.
You just don't appreciate good hard music. Well, you do, but
this is the guy who was saying that he was in the mood for Chevelle last episode. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Nothing is wrong with Chevelle.
That's hilarious.
I mean, I could like listen to Jar by Chevelle and like be like down with it, but not all the time.
Yeah, I have some friends that went through a gnarly Chevelle phase back in high school.
Dude. It's not a phase. It comes back. It's there to stay. It's in your bloodstream.
Yeah, like, just a recurring lifestyle. Huh?
Basically, yeah. It'll be all I listen to for like 3 years, and then I'll go to like some weird indie shit, and then I'll come back to it and be like, yeah, I'm a metal kid. That's how it works.
Well, I always said like when I think Chevelle, I think of like the X, like that style of music that's like on the X, the radio station in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, dude.
And as far as like those style of bands go, Chevelle's probably like tops. Like they can play. They're a 3-piece.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But it's like what, like the best piece of candy corn in a bag of candy corn. You know, it's still candy corn.
No, they are a Skittles and a candy corn. You're like, ooh, wasn't expecting that.
Okay, yeah, okay. But
did I really just compare? Oh, wait, I just compared Chevelle to bag of
you
Skittles.
You definitely did. You tasted the rainbow.
That's fair. I tasted the rainbow, and it tastes like Chevelle.
Well, welcome to the bowl, Josh. Where
Thanks.
Matt and I don't know what the hell we're doing.
I'm happy to be here, and I also don't know what the hell I'm doing, so it works out, you know?
Dude, it's a perfect fit. Yep.
But so we have gathered here today to talk about the good message of rock and roll. Am I correct?
Amen.
Chevelle.
No, shut the hell up.
It's all about
We are-
Chevelle, man.
Well, today's Tuesday. Oh, I got to do math really quick. The 30th, I believe.
I think so,
It's, so like 2 days ago, Built to Spills, Perfect From Now On, celebrated 20 years of being released, is what I'm trying to say. The 20th anniversary of Built to Spills album. That's pretty neat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah.
It's a neat thing. I actually, this is a band that has always been on my radar, yet I've never really listened to.
It's funny because I remember when one of their albums came out, we were having a conversation way before the podcast, and you're like, dude, new Built to Spill album. I was like, cool, who are they? He's like, I don't know, I need to check them out.
Untethered Moon, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it might have been, yeah. What year did that come out?
2015.
2015.
Yep. It actually was, yeah.
that-
Yeah, because it was in New York in October when I
Oh,
visited
yeah?
you. Yep, you were all
dang.
about the new Built to Spill, and I was like, did you check it out? Do you know who they are? He's like, no idea, but I think it's going to be good. I was like,
I never listened.
Right.
I never listened to it.
Oh, man.
Um,
Yeah, it was really good. I saw them, they did an extended tour for that. I saw them play at Mr. Smalls with Alex G and Hopalong. So it
Oh
was
yeah,
pretty,
you're telling me about that tour.
yeah, it was a solid show. It was great.
Did they play anything from Perfect From Now On?
They played what's it? Randy Explains Eternity. I think that was
Yeah.
the only thing from Perfect From Now On that they played. But they mainly stuck to the Untethered Moon, and they did some classics like Liar. But yeah, I mean, it was a solid show. They just stuck with a lot of their hits, if you will. But
All right. Yeah, this is so. When we were in our band With No Disguise, we got compared to like sounding like explosions in the sky and Built to Spill, and we listened. I remember Nick got the one that has Hindsight on it. It's a Blue album cover. It's the one
is
before
it-
Untethered Moon.
is it Carry the Zero? Or the one
No.
that Carry the Zero was on?
Yeah,
I'm
but
sorry.
It's all good, but that album I listened to, so that was kind of like my first introduction to Built to Spill, but like this is like my first actual like really listening to an album.
yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and I gotta say, like from first listen, I was immediately like, shit. If this album had dropped into my lap earlier in life, it would be one of my favorite albums, I think.
Yeah.
Just total vibe, and you could get lost in those guitar tones like for
Oh my
a long
gosh.
time.
Yeah.
Yep.
It doesn't have too much attack on it, but they're just very melodic and atmospheric.
And
Yeah,
the layering,
it's incredible.
The pedals.
Yeah.
I meant to look up all the pedals he used before the episode, and I didn't do that. But I like for my own well-being, I want to look that up.
You wanted to know. Yeah, same here, actually.
Right? Like, how the hell did they... It was all good. Like, there were some Moog synthesizers, and there's some cello, but a lot of that was just straight-up guitar.
Yeah, and the thing that really interests me about this album was listening to it, I found that, you know how some albums have a very big absence of something? And that is what brings it all together, if that makes sense. Like, it's not what's there, what isn't there that makes it. So for this album, I noticed it has that vibe, but then when you listen closely, the absence is actually just more guitar layers. Like, that boggles my
Absolutely.
mind. It's so cool.
I think, Ian,
It's so cool.
Keep It Like a Secret. That's the album that I was thinking about.
Yeah,
The one with the blue album cover?
Yeah.
Yeah. But talking about Perfect From Now On, it's incredible to me how much he layers. And it doesn't clash at all. It's not disharmonious at any point in the album. It just works. And yeah, the Moog synthesizer, the cello, violin, it's a beautiful composition of music.
It really is. It's we talked about it last year when we did the 10th anniversary of Me Without You's Brother Sister. That album has a sound to it, unlike anything else. It's Me Without You, but like Me Without You mastering a sound no one can ever recreate. I listen to this Perfect From Now On, and I'm like, this whole album, even though every song's different, it has this vibe.
It's capturing a moment. Yeah.
And it's this change in pace from their prior two albums. Because, like, I mean, they kind of had that, I don't know if you would call it, like, art pop, kind of Pavement-esque sound. But, like, this, they really embraced a more progressive and, like, psychedelic vibe with this album, which was really cool. And I think it was a really good way to do their third studio album. I thought it was a good change in pace.
Yeah, and well, they had the money and the time, because this is like when they got signed to Warner Brothers. They got a record deal, and I found it was really interesting. Did you know that they recorded this album 3 times?
Yeah,
3 times.
3 times, yeah.
What?
I think one of the times, like the cassette tapes that he had, they were taking them somewhere, but they got destroyed in his car because of the heat. So they had that was like the second time, so they had to do it a third time.
So how do you say his name? Doug
March. I don't know if I think it's like Marsh, but like with a little bit of a hard T. I have no idea.
Marsh. Okay, well we're gonna say Doug. Damn. We're talking about this is the main dude who built the spill. We're talking about Doug, the singer, songwriter. So he recorded this album all by himself, like except for drums. And whoever was at Warner Brothers was like, do it again, just scrap it. And he was like, I already spent like 20 grand. Do it again. Just scrap it. Do it again.
Dang.
So he enlists help from people in the band, and like Josh said, it starts to like melt, like the master tape just gets destroyed. But apparently they were all happy with it. They weren't really feeling good about their performances and stuff. So it's interesting to think I'm so for not overdoing your music, not being in a band that like took the soul out of music, or like overworking something till it was dead. I've been there. So I think music should be organic, and it should be it's about the moment you capture. But I have to say
it's not about perfection. Perfection comes when somebody mixes it.
There's an exception here for Built to Spill. 3rd time's a charm, and perfect, man, perfect from now on.
Absolutely.
It took those fails.
Yeah, and apparently the final product still didn't meet his expectations. Like, he wanted to do...
What?
I think one of his biggest influences was, like, the Beatles, like, the White Album, where, like, there's so much going on, but everything is understandable, and everything, like, you can hear everything distinctively despite how much there is going on. And it actually was subpar according to what he wanted, but they ended up releasing it, and, it's my favorite Built to Spill album, absolutely.
I'm really excited. The one before this and the one after it are apparently the other 2 great ones that I should jump into, I heard. But this album was perfect for me. Like, I was listening to it, I was like, every single, like, what Randy describes Eternity is obviously awesome, but like, I Would Hurt a Fly comes on, and I was like, man, this got a cool mellowness to it. And then the end of that song hits.
Yeah. There's like the oh, it's so good. There's like the transition with the cello, and it's kind of floating atmospheric, and then it just goes hardcore, and then it just like descends into chaos at the end of the song, which is like a really cool touch that I really appreciated.
The chaos is awesome,
absolutely.
man.
Like throughout my notes, I just keep writing the tones. Like it's every time I listen to it, like what I wrote for It Would Hurt a Fly, it's like Appleseed, Me Without You, and like so many bands I'm hearing, and like, just like the guitar
all the bands
tone
that made up the 2000s.
Absolutely.
So that actually brings up a very interesting question that I have. And Josh, you've listened to more Built to Spill than Ian and I have, obviously. So we're big fans of Thrice, and we've seen the evolution of that band, and what they were making in the early thousands versus what they're making now is totally different.
Absolutely.
So if this album in 1997 influenced most of the music that I listened to in the early thousands, like I can hear so many bands in this album, what happened to these guys? Like, did their tone change, or did they fall off the radar, or is there just something I don't know about them? Because I've never heard about these guys until Ian told me about them in 2015, and it was in hindsight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
so.
I mean, I think Perfect From Now On was the album that kind of marked an era of more experimentation with them as a band.
Okay.
Because like before that, like I said, they were very kind of Pavement-esque, kind of like the glam rock, kind of just like the 90s alternative glam rock vibes. But then, they kind of embarked on like a period, I guess, of experimentation. I like, the Beatles. A lot of Pavement was actually a big influence. The Doors. I know Pink Floyd was a big influence on them. And but then I think it was after
Neil Young, Crazy Horse.
Yeah, Neil Young as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, because his vocals get compared to Neil Young's a lot, and like their whole total vibe. In their live album, they cover Cortez the Killer.
Mm-hmm.
So, nice.
And like Neil Young and Crazy Horse is all about tones and depth. So.
Right.
But and then I think it was after they had an album that came out in 2009. There Is No Enemy, and after that they took like a 4-year hiatus. And like I know he was Doug was trying to do projects and record with his band and stuff in that point, but he just felt, I guess, a writer's block, and he thought it was like a coming of age kind of thing. But
right.
Yeah, and then they just bounced back with Untethered Moon, which has a lot of vibes from like Perfect From Now On. Keep it like a secret, but you can tell that it's evolved to more of a contemporary sound from that. But yeah.
Definitely. No, I totally understand that, because like in the new Thrice album, it's Thrice doing their I call it Thrice doing their Thriceest, but it's Thrice at their just all-time game, peak vocals, peak performance, but they're very contemporary, very simple songs when you break them down,
right,
to the point where it's like verse chorus outro. So I totally understand that. So it's interesting. I don't know if that's if that's the coming of age writer's block that they're talking about, but I can definitely see that for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that may have been how he kind of got out of the writer's block, was kind of re-embracing just the classic song structure, because like from Perfect From Now On and on after that, they kind of moved away from like the pop song structure and more into like just a verse, chorus, refrain, verse, all over the place.
Right.
But yeah, like Untethered Moon was like a return to that classic song structure, which I think probably helped them a lot. But yeah, that was a phenomenal album too. Not my favorite, but I mean it's just another solid Built to Spill album.
It's hard for bands to stay relevant. That's a question I've been pondering a lot lately. Like we just reviewed Pink Floyd's Animals last Tuesday, and what would we say that was their 10th album? Or 8th?
Yeah, 9th or 10th.
Yeah.
It was like in the 9th, 10th, 11th phase. Like,
and it's one of their best albums. And like Stevie Wonder released songs it was 8 or 9.
Songs in the Key of Life.
Songs in the Key of Life was his 10th album. That's like his best album.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, like I see bands like Circus Survives coming out with their 6th album this year. Me Without You's on 6. Pine Grove's on 1.
Pine Grove's on 1.
A Great Big Pile of Leaves is on 2. You see these bands, they get to like 3 or 4, and after 4, like any band that I like, I'm like, can they do it again?
Yeah.
But like, in the 70s and the 60s and whatnot, that was proven time and time again that it is. So was it change in the times? Was there more to work with back then? Have we changed how we perceive things as human beings? I don't know. That's just
the other thing you got to think about too is that was the 70s. So you have the 80s, the 90s, thousands, and now the 2010 era. That's 40 plus years of music.
A lot
happens in 40 years.
Technical changes, yeah.
Yeah, a lot happens. I mean, stuff's been done.
True.
It's hard to make something original.
I was to say the Flaming Lips just released like their 11th million album like last week, and I'm good. I didn't listen to it. What were you saying, buddy?
I mean one of my favorite bands that I think has really done an amazing job at kind of tackling that whole like remain, I guess, with the times, for lack of a better term to put it, but has been Radiohead. Because I mean you go back to some of the earlier stuff from Pablo Honey to like OK Computer, and it's still just more riffy, just guitar stuff. But like going up to like Kid A, Amnesiac, A Moon-Shaped Pool, which came out in 2016. Like, I don't know. It's just amazing to me how, after being around for more than 20 years, just how they can still release an album that's so new and raw, even to Radiohead fans.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And yeah, it's incredible.
they're genre and trendsetters, like, and they've proven it time and time. Like, they're on their own level.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was gonna say I probably shouldn't mention my views on the new Radiohead album, so I'll save that one.
I tried to warn you, Josh.
It's no in rainbows. It's no in rainbows.
I'm sorry.
Can we go listen to more Chevelle, please?
But to jump back into Perfect from now on, so I want to say that the end of I Would Hurt a Fly is my favorite part in the album. But then Stop the Show starts, and just like all of those guitars going, that slow drum beat, and then that build, and then when the drums like kick in with that what's the line? You can't tell me anything. It's not like that. Just when his vocals come, it's just a big lie. Oh my god. That's the perfect, like, just got out of the subway, I'm walking to work, I'm a little bit late, like, I got 8 blocks to fast walk to.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I even get, like, with, like, the droney guitars and the cellos, like, it's always right before, like, it has, like, that giant build to the climax of the song, and I almost feel like, I kind of get almost, like, a shoegazy vibe off of it, even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It covers so much ground with the tones,
Yeah.
I've never heard an album where I've got so excited about how the guitar sounds.
Oh, it's amazing.
I really have to, like...
Well, I was going to say, taking it from just old band experiences, I mean, Nick and I would spend more time writing how the guitar tones were supposed to be versus writing the actual music itself. So I can definitely appreciate that. I mean, you spend hours. It was a part-time job to figure out what tones we need to use for what songs and what goes where and what layers need to go where. So the fact that they do it perfectly in this album is incredible. I mean, it does not go underrated or underestimated on this end at all.
Mm-hmm. Work was put into it. The slide guitar.
Oh, so good. So good.
Incredible. Absolutely.
This is one of my favorite songs. I wish we could play and not get in trouble for copyrights. I just want to play that part when he comes in.
I think you can get like under 30 seconds, but I don't know if it's worth the risk.
But and I love how
we don't have enough money for a lawsuit.
We do not at all. It's during that you don't really know that it sounds like there's horns. But it's like guitar, man.
Yep. Yeah, it's all these. It's crazy with all these the layering. You get all these crazy overtones that like you have to listen to the album even a couple times just to even pick up on them. When you pick up on them, it's like holy crap, it's incredible. But yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, man. What's your favorite song off the album, by the way? We're kind of going track by track, but
my favorite song, I love the first half of the album is absolutely just like. I guess to pick a favorite half of the album would be the first half. But I really, it's probably between Made Up Dreams and Velvet Waltz for me. I love the change in pace, but not relinquishing, just like you said, like the intensity and the build of the album. But I'd probably have to say Velvet Waltz. I just really appreciate that change in pace and how it kind of, it's a transition song into the last half of the album. And yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, that one, I didn't delve into the lyrics as much as I would like to, but this one, that Velvet Waltz has a line, you thought of everything, but some thoughts can't be thought.
Yeah.
I know that I've read up, he doesn't really care about his lyrics. It's kind of like a lot of it's bullshit, just like he writes the melodies and whatever will fit in the melody, but the guy does definitely write some one-liners that are are
absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, I think it's in Randy Described Eternity. I think this album in particular, he kind of embraced an existential kind of vibe with his lyrics. I remember I read an article a couple months ago about the lyrics of Randy Described Eternity, and he uses a metaphor from his college professor.
It was his youth group leader.
Oh, it was his youth group? Really?
Yeah, it was his youth group leader named Randy.
I didn't even realize that. But yeah, and it talks about a metal sphere that just makes its way once in every 100 years past the earth, and then you're slowly carving it with a feather. And it's some trippy bullshit, but Yeah.
Some
It
trippy
has
bullshit
some-
to figure out a term.
So that really does sound like the quality of these lyrics. This is just some trippy bullshit.
Some trippy bullshit. That's right.
Jump back to Made Up Dreams, another existential line. No one cares what you dreamt about unless you dreamt of them. You know, it's like you could totally see some like angsty teens in the 90s being like, Doug.
He's like, my parents don't understand me. That's exactly it. Yeah.
All the more
and that's
reason to thrash, man.
all the more reason to love Built to Spill. I mean, you could like just dive into the tones and just like the music of the band, but then they also have those just catchy hooks and catchy lyrics that make you want to sing along.
Yep.
Like,
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
They didn't. He is a good songwriter, man. Like he knows how to write a song.
Maybe not lyrics, but he knows how to write a song.
But that's what I'm saying though. He knows what lyrics to put in
Yeah.
at least. Like at least with this album, like maybe that didn't mean anything to him, but I heard no one cares what you dreamt about unless you dreamt of them, and I live in New York, man. No one cares about me, so I deal with that all the time. Like all just people not caring about people. So
Right.
yeah. But what is it about Velvet Waltz that you like so much? Because I kind of like that's kind of one of the lesser ones that I would listen to when I would go to. I'd kind of at points want to go to maybe I Would Hurt a Fly or Stop the Show or Out of Sight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a big part of it for me is just because the first half of the album is absolutely incredible, and it's just like you said, like when you it's like you feel like you have somewhere to be, you know, and then like just those climax of the song hit, and you're just like you're off for it, and it's like that's how the whole first half of the album feels to me. But I don't know, I really appreciate Velvet Waltz just for the change in pace. You know what I mean? Just the really melodic and peaceful cello in the song. I think there's cello on like six songs on the album. So, but
Yeah. Out of 8, so I mean that's
that is
you know.
that his name was John McMahon, whatever. That was the celloist in the album. Sometimes I look up details.
but yeah, I mean, I don't know, something about the song, just almost like I don't know. I got like a stripped back psychedelia vibe from it, almost like spiritualized or like almost like the Velvet Underground even from it. And I don't know. That's
interesting.
Yeah, I really dig that change in pace.
All right.
So first half of the album is my favorite half. Velvet Waltz on the second half, probably like one of my favorite tracks in the album.
I really like Out of Sight too, though. And Kicked in the Sun gets real cool towards the end. That's the one that kind of like this like ballady. Is that the one where the ballady part kind of
builds
rips
up at
out?
the end and then it just explodes. Yeah.
His voice gets that real high.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That part's so 90s. It's so good.
What was amazing about that? The first time I listened to this album, I checked. Like, Kicked It in the Sun came on, and I was like, this is a really cool song. And I realized it was right before the finale. And that kind of blew my mind a little bit because there's not a lot of albums that I listen to nowadays where the entire time I'm enthralled. And when I realized I was so close to the end and still enthralled with it, I knew it was something special to start off with.
Oh, yeah.
So that is almost, to me, it's perfect placement for that song. Absolutely perfect placement.
And I would love to know if it's like a synth or like a reversed effect or tone in that, you know, the part where it's like, we're special in other ways. Like that.
Yep.
Like, can we just like get the copyrights, restart this whole thing, play the album, and just like every once in a while just go, That'll be the best review.
I mean, every time I listen to the album, it's basically my reaction anyways. Just kind of like an occasional satisfied grunt, you know? Like,
yeah. Or like, I'll be on this.
With your arms crossed, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's much better that way.
Chewing on a cigar, you know?
Be on the subway and just like drop the knees for a second while I'm standing, you know? I don't know, just give a little headbang. A little something. I gotta give myself a little something sometimes.
Man, Ian, I just realized you are that guy on the subway. Like, everyone's looking at you. You are that dude on the subway that they're like, what is going on with that dude?
Maybe sometimes when the tone is right.
Fair enough.
But and then we eventually make our way to the last song, Untrustable, and then part 2 about someone else. I do this all the time where I don't give the last song enough attention to the rest of the album. So I kind of did that with this one, but I really loved it. I had this lyric written down, but it doesn't seem that revolutionary to me now. But you got an opinion on Untrustable, Josh?
I think it's a hell of a way to bring the album to a close. I mean, what is it, like a 9-minute song? And it's like it's actually like 2 songs within the song. Doug wrote it so like he divided it up within 2 songs. There's a lyric that I was thinking. I think it God is whoever you're performing for, and God is whoever you perform for.
Yep. Yeah, that's the one. I think I started to write it and I didn't finish it because I just have God whoever you perform for.
Yeah.
I was like, what the? No, that's a great line.
Yeah, and it's like at face value, it seems like, again, just more trippy bullshit. But then you read into it, it's like, oh, like, yeah. It's talking about, I feel like it's almost like things that have mastery over you. Like, that's your God, you know?
Well, and
you're a slave.
I mean, taking it from the... Yeah, and taking it from the standpoint of someone who's been on stage performing for people before, that... And God is whoever you perform for is so true, because in that moment, you don't care about anything else except pleasing the people in front of you. And that becomes your God. I mean, when you're obsessed over something else, when you're obsessed over anything and that's all you think about, that's your evolution, that's your God.
And you want to be accepted.
Exactly. And so nothing puts you more vulnerable than having a guitar or a microphone or a bass or a drum kit strapped in front of you and going to town. I mean, nothing puts you more in a state of wanting to be accepted, wanting to be loved, and wanting to please your God.
Absolutely.
So that line's actually really fucking profound.
Mm-hmm.
Going into like a spiritual realm, I often like look at that like when I'm struggling with like existential crap. I'm like, am I just being like, is it selfish to be an artist? Like, am I putting too much effort into like this thing that's like me? So I often wonder that. I'm like, if there is a dude in the sky looking down at me, like, is he like, what, like, why do you care so much about this? Why do you care so much about people liking the thing you're making? You know? I'm always pondering that.
Yeah.
So.
It's crazy. I mean, art and like music is just, it's an attempt to recreate the beauty of the world around you. And like, yeah. So like Matt was saying, like, that's a vulnerable place to be in. Like, this is your attempt to convey the way that you interact with the world to other people. And like, so whether or not like they dig it is like a huge make or break thing for somebody, you know? It's crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Very true. Should it be?
I mean,
always.
Well, it's honestly to get super deep real fast. It's one of the reasons you see more people that work in the musician field and that, you know, are music producers and artists that kill themselves versus people that work in McDonald's.
They're killing themselves in other ways.
It's fair enough.
Anybody have any information about the album artwork? I totally forgot to look into that. It's okay if we don't. It's a cool cover. It definitely adds to the album.
Yeah,
I don't know if I get any. I don't know if I get any more significance. I'm horrible at multitasking. If I start Googling, I'm gonna stutter on my words.
Yeah, I actually don't know much about the album artwork. I mean, it looks cool. So,
I kind of like, you know, this album's called Perfect from now on, but this is just like random doodles.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
I don't know. I like the album cover a lot, and I really love the album. Anybody got anything else to say about the album?
No, not on this end. How about you, Josh?
No, I think, that was a pretty solid conversation.
Well, then we have to get to the point where we do that the godlike thing. We judge it, we rate it.
Oh man, I wasn't expecting this.
You weren't expecting it. We're rating it.
All right, you guys go first, and then I'll see what I'm doing here.
So this album's only a few weeks old in my life, even though it's 20 years old. And we do up to 5. 2.5 is an average rating. 3 is a good album. 3.5, 4. 5 is like Dark Side of the Moon.
Yep.
Yeah, Kid A.
Yeah.
I would give Perfect from now on a 4.5, if not 4.8.
Damn.
I love this album.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Definitely a 4.5. I'll go 4.5 because I have to let. It's so new in my brain. Once I have it for a while, who knows how it's say. How about you, Matt?
I would probably give it a 4, but realistically, if I'm really to think about it, I would give it an empty beer glass and about 3 shots in tequila, without the lime, just because it's not sour enough for that shit.
That's the Matt rating scale.
That's the Matt rating.
Eloquent. I could not have articulated it better myself. So, this album, like, it's my favorite Built to Spill album. It's one of my favorite albums to come out of the '90s independent scene. But kind of like what you said, like it's not the Yankee Hotel Foxtrots. It's not the Kid A's, the OK Computer. So I'll probably have to give it a 4. But still, yeah, it's one of my favorite Built to Spill albums and one of my favorite albums from its time. Yeah, it's incredible. But yeah, I think I'll have to go with, probably like a 4.
I think I give it a 4.5 because the guitar tones. I've never heard something like just like the attention to the layering of the guitars. And I just watched some live videos before we did the podcast, and they have 3 guitars that are all doing that crap live.
Nice.
Yeah, you guys are more experienced with the tones, guitar tones and whatnot. So like, yeah, I feel like I want to be in a place where I can listen to this album, 3 or 4 years down the line and just be like, whoa, holy shit, like those guitar tones. But yeah, I'm slowly learning, but
Oh, it's all good, man. It's all good. I've listened to so much music, I have to pick it apart now. And it's not interesting.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Before we let you go, Josh, we've been doing this thing where we just get some stuff off our chest real quick at the end of the episode and just rant a little bit. So if you have anything, it could be positive, negative, whatever you want to rant about for a second. Just like you have like a minute or 2 minutes, just go.
All right, you guys go first. Let me see what I'm working with here.
Oh man, gosh darn it. Let's see. Well, last episode, Matt kept using my least favorite word in the world. It's called retarded. There are people that are mentally retarded out there, Matthew. Don't disrespect them.
For the record, I said fucking retarded, not just retarded.
I didn't expect to do a rant. I thought we would put Josh on the spot and make him do it, but then I got thrown on the spot. So this is what I'm ranting about. Hate that word. I hate that word.
All right, so
I'm not mad at you.
Sucks, though? Actually, you know what's fucking retarded? When taxes are easy, they're still not freaking easy. And after this episode, I have to do my taxes, and that just sucks.
I hear you.
I'm very calm about it, but because I'm getting money back, but that still sucks.
All right, man.
Taxes are some bullshit, but I don't know. Fucking bad internet service. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
It took me, I don't know. Before even actually calling you guys, I had to spend 20 minutes just trying to get Skype to work. It was a pain in the ass. It was just this is not the mood I want to be in before I do this. But everything got going and the ball got rolling. It was all right. But yeah, shitty internet service. I hate it. Hate that shit.
The forces of good serve those that are good, and we're 3 good individuals. And as you can see, this went off without a cinch. The internet work, because my internet's been real crappy too. I gotta give a very strongly worded letter to Optimum. This is ridiculous.
Because their service is not Optimum, that's for sure.
Amen. New rant. All right. Well, it's a pleasure again to talk to you, bud. I hope school's going great. I know
thank you.
in his free time he writes some music, but I'm sure it's not something you want to advertise just yet. But keep on keeping at that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And thank you, Built the Spill, for making one heck of an album.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and, thanks for the encouragement, Matt. I mean, this is the first time we've actually met in person. In quotes,
it was very nice.
But
yeah, it was an absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
thanks so much, man.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Sure, yeah.